Okay, so I just want to start this video off by saying that it is long overdue. I mean, a friend of mine asked me about this question about a month and a half ago. But just because of the new patch coming out and the changes to abilities, and spoiler alert, that's how I counter shotgun sometimes is with abilities. Personally, I kept on putting it off a bit until after we had seen what happened, and the patch dropped December 7th. So now here we are, and not a lot has changed, just a little bit slower. Okay, so the main question that I got asked was how do I avoid getting 8 by shotguns in 6s and in 3s? And this is a question that honestly I still struggle with. But the main answer is just simply to, create space, right? And I mean, like anyone can tell you that. That's pretty easy. But the reason why I wanted to make this quick video was to focus on how do we make that space. And that is a very broad question, and we could make like hour-long videos on this, very specific depending on what class you're using, what loadouts you're using, what map you're on, things of that nature, right? But I did find, and what we'll be going over in the next couple of minutes, is that there are a few things, tips, pieces of game knowledge, whatever you want to call it, that answer that question that can be used on a variety of classes and a variety of maps. So, without further ado, for a video that is long overdue, we go into tip number one. So when getting to know our shotguns, I think that there are, in my opinion, there are 3 specific things that we need to know. We need to know, one, what they look like when they're coming at you. We need to know the different types of shotguns that there are available to us. And then we really need to know their effective ranges and what that kind of looks like. So if you don't have any friends, sounds really mean. If you don't have anybody on right now, or you're just solo and you're just coming in to look at something, a little tip that I use anyway, something that I do, is if you load up a private game and you come to this area and you see where heavy is, it gives you a basic marker. This is what you're looking at, and it gives you a basic idea. It's not exact, but it tells you roughly what it looks like when you're on screen, okay? Distance, because that's 7 meters. So what we're going to talk about are the different types of shotguns to start off. So first off, we're going to look at, there are 2 different types. There's pellet and there's slug shotguns. You'll be able to tell this by in the description, like this says fire a single round slug. Generally, this says pinpoint slug frame, or it could be a precision frame. And then you have different frames for your pellet shotguns, each with a little bit of, different perks. However, the main thing is that both have the potential to one-hit kill. Slug shotguns, you can be further away but have to hit a crit, and pellets, you have to be closer, but you don't have to hit. You have to be as accurate. It just the center mass works. Now, for mostly speaking, is that pellet shotguns, which I have equipped here, will generally one-hit kill high percentage at around 7 meters for a well-rolled frame and well-rolled shotgun. You can reach out to about 7.5, let's say about here, maybe about here. So that is what it looks like. Now, if you load up a private game and you come stand here, then you know that anybody with a flashlight that's in between this area with you, you're in trouble. Get out. Slug shotguns, on the other hand, generally hit, as far as I'm aware, at around 12.5 in around here. 12 to 12.5, some 11.5, but 12 to 12.5. In Chaperone, I think it's like 13 meters, like around here. Okay, but be aware that they have to hit a headshot, right? So what I say is that whenever I see a shotgun running at me, which is actually our third point, and I'm going to tell you right now, basically you can't tell what shotgun it is. I can't anyway, just by looking at them when they're coming at you, but they'll have a flashlight when they're running at you. You'll see a white flashlight on it, and you know that's a shotgun. And if I see a shotgun and I see them around this distance and around here, I know I'm in trouble. And if I'm wary of them from around here, and I try to use some other tips that we're going to come across in a later section on getting away from them. Okay, so from this point, we want to know the 2 different types of shotguns and the distances. And also, I would recommend, even if you're looking at something like, pistols, SMGs, hand cannon, something of that nature, just loading up a game and just seeing roughly how far away it is to see where the heavy is, just so you can get an example of how far away things are and what the distances actually look like. Okay? So the next thing is knowing the map. Now this comes with a lot of practice and a lot of gameplay. But what you will generally find out if you don't have a lot of that under your belt is that Destiny 2 maps are they're designed in such a way that they will always generally have a lane or a couple of wide open places, such as around here, right? And then they will have a couple of in-between places, such as about here on the boardwalk, on the bridge here, and this on Wormhaven, or looking down here and here. And then they will have a bunch of really close places, such as in this whole corridor area right in here. See how close everything is? Okay. You'll generally find that that is around what most Destiny 2 maps have, except for maybe Widow's Court. Even then, you can fight within a couple of different places. So the main thing is if you load up on a map, there are a limited number of maps. We are getting some new ones soon, so it'll be fun to go through this again. But it's just to play around and get a feel of the map so that you know that if you are not using any close range weapons, or you're afraid of shotgunners, a shotgunner out here, if they're running at you, you've got a great chance of destroying them before they get to you, eliminating them, right? You know that if you are over here on this balcony here and they're rushing at you from here, you can just backpedal as you shoot them because you have a lot of area. But you also know that if you're running down here and you're coming to B and you're going through this section in particular, you could be in trouble because even if they start running at you from here and you start backpedaling away, you don't have a lot of room and they are in close proximity. So the main thing I'm trying to say here is just to try to get to know the maps and then subsequently avoid the very tight areas of the maps. Now, sometimes that's kind of impossible. I mean, look how they set up B even here. It looks like a wide open place, but because of this wall here, a shotgunner can come from here, come around, see you might get a couple shots on them, right? So if they're coming this way, I'm coming this way, see a guy on B, you might get a couple shots on me, but now I can close the distance with this wall being my wall. so that if you're around the corner, now I know you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You know what I mean? You look at this marker, that's 6 meters away there, right? You're in trouble, right? So again, main thing is just to get a little bit used to the map and try to avoid the tight places. That's not always going to be there, but it is just a quick tip just to help you, try to avoid some shotgunners. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is actually creating that space when a shotgun rusher is aiming you. So one thing to keep in mind is that the time to kill in this game is actually quite fast, right? I think it's like 1.5 to 1.7 if you're hitting all body shots. So if somebody's rushing me and they're coming from the store and they're coming out here and they're trying to come get me, if I'm here with let's say my Vex, and I'm backing up because naturally you're not just gonna be like, oh my gosh, and run away this way, right? You're gonna be backing up and trying to kill them at the same time. Chances are I might get them, but chances are they'll probably get me, especially if we're in a closer area like this, like if I'm here, right? They'll end up closing that distance and get me before I can get them. So one way we can create more space quite more effectively is by using the aerial space here. All right. Now, to put this in perspective, if I am looking at here and I'm 3 meters away from my enemy here, if I'm jumping up in the air, I create more distance. So hunters in particular, we're going to differentiate on classes here a bit. Hunters are really effective at going straight up in the air, or even better if using strafe jump is they jump once, and then when they hit the second jump, they can bounce backwards. So now you're not only creating distance this way, but you're also creating distance horizontally, right? So that they can't get that gap on you, and you can miss a bunch of shots if you want, because as long as you're hitting some of them, you should theoretically win that battle, as long as they don't catch you off guard. Now for my Titans and my Warlocks, we can do, up in the air, straight up a bit, it's okay. However, what you gotta realize is as soon as I start firing back, you drop, right? So one thing that we can do is if I'm fighting, if you're already in the direction, you can just double tap your jump, either burst glide on, or if you have strafe jump in particular, and you can really create some distance there. And then as you're falling, you can finish the person off. So keep that in mind. If we're not using our map knowledge that well, or we know we're using our map knowledge, we're coming in, we're like, oh, someone might be rushing me from here, and I see somebody coming, I'm backing up, that you can use, actually literally physically create space with the jumping that they have in this game. One of the final things I want to talk about is actually using your abilities. Now, this is actually the key reason why I didn't make this video earlier, is because I knew that there was going to be a lot of changes to abilities coming in, and there has been. Essentially, it's just slower. However, a lot of the abilities in this game are used naturally to deny area of effect or area of space, deny area. So essentially, look at this. I mean, I have lightning grenades on, right? So if someone's coming at me here and I'm standing here and they're coming through that door, if I chuck it here, it hits that damage, right? It hits them for like 130 or up to 150, I think I've seen. So that now, if I'm using my thing before, I can just do it right away. They get a hit from that, and I can hit, and then I can finish them off with my weapon. Or, if I see them coming, you can toss it at the wall, and maybe they'll think twice about continuing that approach, and you catch them like a fish out of water sitting here. Titan also has access to, barricade. So you can, if shotguns, if you see a shotgun rusher, or you're in a close proximity and your radar's going off, you can preemptively throw this up, because then if you see them coming at you, you can really create space here, and they either have to go above or around to get to you. Hunters, you have the dodge. Basically, just warlocks, you have a bunch of different grenades. Your grenade abilities are great. Your arc souls will really help put out that DPS, so that if someone's rushing you, you can really, take them out. Because arc souls in particular, they have a slower travel to projectile speed. But when someone's coming right at you, it actually quickens it because they're running into the projectiles, right? So you can really capitalize on cutting down that time to kill. So whatever your kit is, just take a look at the abilities that you have and use them to help slow or help damage the shotgun rusher. That I feel like this is one that I should really go into more detail on, maybe a different video, or if requested by somebody, because each kit has different abilities that you can use. But if you're using your kit that you're used to and you're thinking, hey, like my grenade denies some area, or I can, if I'm here, I can dodge out this way, or even dodge. Like sometimes what I found I've done before for my hunter, if someone's coming at me and they take a shot, but they didn't ADS with full choke or anything, and they got me half, right? If I slide and then dodge past them, that really throws them off, right? Then you can jump right up in the air, utilize that vertical space, and get the hopefully get the elimination. One other thing that I just think I should mention here is that I'm talking in this case about people actually just shotgun aping you. Another thing that you have to pay attention to is that, and especially with pellet shotguns these days, is that people will come at you after they've primed you already with something. And this is also where abilities really come into play. So what I'm thinking of is if I'm fighting somebody and they are standing about here, right? So even if they're at that flag, they're like 17, 18 meters away from me. We're both in almost all ranges here. We're in prime. We're in good range. We're fighting each other, and I'm losing this duel. They're using a 140. I peek. They hit me once. I engage with them. They hit me again. I come over here. If they're coming at me, right, because they know that if I stand here, we're in trouble. I'm going to be moving back away as soon as I see them come at me. They might bring out their shotgun, because now the 7.5 meters, if they have a really well rolled one, reaches out to like 13, 14, 15 meters. And all they need to do is just put the reticle on me and shoot it, right? So it's a really good cleanup weapon. So what we really need to do is, in that case, if I'm losing that, my immediate thing, if I'm the Titan, is to put that barricade up, and then you can run. If I'm using shoulder charge, which is great, you can really get away fast, right? Look how much distance that put in there, right? So just keep attention to that, is that even if you think you duck in, and because you're worried about abilities being slower and you're not thinking if they're going to toss a grenade at you, unless it's a firebolt grenade, watch that 51-second cooldown or whatever it is, something super fast. Watch out for people coming at you with their shotguns to clean you up. Okay. Anyway, I think that about covers everything. Any questions, just please leave them down in the comments down below. I'd love to get a discussion going, or any other videos you guys might want, or any suggestions that you have, please leave them down. And, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.